I've had the idea for this video for years, for years and years and years, and I never got around to it. Or, I mean, I've had plenty of occasions and opportunities to film it or recreate it, but I never did it. I never pulled myself out of this fear, and I was just journaling about it. And I thought, why not, instead of just journaling about it here, why not make a video and put it on my YouTube? Because maybe someone else needs to hear this too. Now, you might be wondering, what's your first YouTube video, or what was your first YouTube video? Well, when I was around, I believe, 15 years old maybe, I filmed a makeup tutorial, and I put my heart and soul into it, and I loved it. It was very well received. I remember getting a couple of comments from people, and I was ecstatic. Like, I was thrilled. But the next day, my dad came into my room, and he was like, yeah, I saw your video. You're gonna need to delete that. And so I did. And it took me, how many years? That happened when I was, let's say, 15. And then not this January, but last January, when I was 29, I'm 30 now. At 29, I posted my first video that is on this channel, which is called Sales is Spiritual. And yeah, I guess let's talk about limiting beliefs and fear and shame and guilt while I do my makeup. So I'm going to start off by just moisturizing my face. I use Weleda Skin Food. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally really like this underneath my makeup because it just creates the smoothest base to put everything on top of. I don't know if this is true. Some people are hating on it because they say that originally it was a foot cream. But, I mean, even if it was, I mean, it's all natural ingredients. So, alright, that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit more context about the first video. So, I was around 15 years old, and I never had a lot of friends growing up. I was a very shy, very introverted person, very codependent, which at the time I didn't even know that was not normal. I didn't know that wasn't healthy because it was how I was raised. And so I would spend a lot of time alone in my room. And one of my favorite things to do was watching YouTube videos. I used to play a lot of games as well, like mainly Stardoll, which that website still exists. And it's basically, you have like this avatar, I guess, and you can do their makeup and their hair, and you can buy clothes and outfits and style their rooms and their apartments. And I just thought it was the best thing. I spent countless of hours on that website, and I loved it. It was, in hindsight, like now I can see it was a form of escapism. But I really enjoyed it. I spent a lot of my childhood on there. And another thing I really enjoyed doing was watching makeup tutorials and makeup hauls and get ready with me videos. And that was, I'd say, for two reasons. Like, one of the reasons was I was really insecure about how I looked. I was bullied in both middle school and high school. There's this one instance It's just ingrained into my memory. Again, around the same age, 14 to 15 years old, Wednesday afternoons, my school organized or took part in like these running competitions, and I was really craving community and connection. So I joined, even though I wasn't really athletic as a kid. I joined, and I struggled to finish the race, but I did, and I was really proud of myself for it. But as I was after the race, after I was walking back to like the shower rooms to change and everything, two guys that I had never met before, they must have been from a different school, didn't know them, never seen these guys, and they just kind of like grabbed me, like each one grabbed one shoulder, and they were like, wow, you're really ugly, and then released me and went on with their day. And that, like, I mean, obviously I would have looked like shit. I had just ran a race completely being out of shape. Yeah, and that just ever since that day, I got obsessed with I need to look presentable, I need to look good. Yeah, and that's when I started thinking that I needed makeup in order to look good and presentable. And I mean, it didn't help that, when I started wearing makeup and I wasn't wearing makeup for a day, my parents would even say like, oh, you look tired, you look sick. So that just sealed the deal for me, and I was like, okay, I guess I just have to wear makeup. And for the longest time, for years, I was really insecure, and I wouldn't leave the house without makeup, because looking back, that instance, what had happened, like I had just, ran, and that to me was a personal win. But that was completely disregarded just because of how I looked. And I guess that instilled this belief of I am only worthy when I look good. When I get male validation, right? I'm not sure where I'm going with all of this. I just thought I would pick up the camera and get started. But yeah, I guess that story just kind of, positions us a little bit and is a little backstory on how and when I got obsessed with looking good and doing my makeup. And yeah, so I would watch a lot of videos, makeup tutorials, people just buying unnecessary amounts of makeup and showing it off. Yeah, I loved it. I would also enjoy watching vlogs and like day in the life with me and those kind of videos. But makeup specifically played a big role. And so I remember when I was around 16, 17, I started working at a bakery every weekend. And nearly all the money I made would either go to clothing, to makeup, then later dyeing my hair all crazy colors, getting my nails done, lashes, everything. Also, tattoos. Yeah, all those things I did. In a way, I thought, like, if I look a certain way, I'll finally fit in. Like, I will finally be good enough. And, well, now I haven't dyed my hair in like 3 or 4 years. I'm rocking my own natural color now. Also, I want to say, like, there is nothing wrong with wearing makeup or getting your hair did or whatever. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel better, why not? Go for it. But I was not doing these things for the right reasons. I was not doing these because I enjoyed doing makeup. I mean, I did enjoy doing makeup, but I genuinely believed that I looked horrific and really ugly without it. I was just, yeah, I just believed I was really ugly, and that because of that, I wasn't worthy of anything. I was so deeply insecure. And then later on, that evolved. Ooh, I didn't think we'd be going to this topic, but I guess it needed to come up. But I was just really looking for, external validation, but male validation specifically. And I think that feeling or that want to be chosen, to be good enough, to be desired, to be, yeah, I guess like to be desired, right? That need was so strong because I had been bullied in school. Like, I didn't get my first boyfriend until I was 19. Like, in school, guys didn't even, like, I was the ugly duckling. I had those braces that go outside, like the wire metal thing that goes outside or around your face, and glasses and greasy hair. Yeah, and then I swung the complete other way, and I still felt really awkward, didn't know how to exist as like a sovereign being because I didn't see my own worth. And that feeling grew stronger over the years through various instances and various things that happened. And my dad telling me to delete that video, in a way, instilled a lot of beliefs like expressing myself creatively is not safe. I'm not allowed to express myself. I'm not allowed to have my own interests. Like, it needs to fit within societal norms and standards. And I'm not saying any of this to talk shit about my dad. Like, I love him. And in hindsight, it was probably for the better that he made me delete it, because, I was already bullied and fully dissociating from the moment that I came home. Like, I would take a nap when I came home, eat dinner, clean the dishes, go to my room to watch YouTube and play video games until the early hours, only to repeat that the very next day. And that was my childhood and teenage years. And yeah, if my dad hadn't told me to delete that video, I'm sure eventually my classmates would have found out and would have, given me an even harder time at school. So in hindsight, I am really happy and grateful that my dad was looking out for me and that he cared enough to, intervene in a way. At the same time, I also need to acknowledge, especially in the line of work I do now, that it had a huge impact on me. And it stopped me, even now, today. I didn't really want to make this video, but there comes a time, like when you have like a desire for something you want to do, when you have a vision and you feel very strongly within your bones that you need to do it, there will be a point that nothing will be able to numb you from that feeling anymore. And by that I mean like various addictions. Could be anything. Could be doom scrolling on your phone. Could be binge eating. Could be serial dating. Porn, whatever. Drinking, smoking. There's so many ways that you can numb yourself. But when your vision for what you want, or maybe not even the vision, when that feeling, that desire in your heart is strong enough, there will come a point in your life where you're like, I can no longer take this. Like, I am gonna go crazy if I don't do this thing today. And that is exactly how I felt last January when I posted my first now YouTube video called Sales is Spiritual. Yeah, at the time I was working as a sales ghostwriter and a creative director for a marketing agency. They focus on like high quality videography, and they let me ideate concepts for videos and then write the scripts and write the voiceovers, and I would go to set, and it was a great experience. It was exactly what I needed at the time, because the first 2 years in my business as a freelance copywriter, I had no clue what I was doing. And I didn't want to learn about, or I didn't want to educate myself on finances or sales, or I didn't want to do anything else than just the creative writing bit. And while that is great, you can only avoid things like finances and sales for so long until you, again, get to a point where either you're going to make it work or you're not going to make it work, but you can't keep avoiding those things. So I came way out of my comfort zone, and I joined a co-working space and introduced myself to these people, and we started working together. The problem was, however, that I had no boundaries. I'm still working on setting boundaries with people, and as a recovering people pleaser and codependent, and someone who grew up heavily enmeshed with their mom and didn't really have a sense of personality or individuality for most of my life, I had a very hard time prioritizing my own creative projects. And there was this huge layer of fear. I told you about the story, why there was so much fear around it. While I learned so much there, there's this quote. I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but there's this quote that says something among the lines of, the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive the return ticket is. I think you get the gist. And that's exactly, like, that quote is so fitting to the situation or that time in my life, because I'd known for years at this point that I wanted to do something that was going to make people feel better within themselves, feel secure within themselves, really create that inner safety. Because I've been looking for that and striving for that since I was 17 years old. Probably before that, but 17 years old was when the first time I went to see a therapist. It was on my own initiative, and I wanted to study psychology in university. I didn't do it because my grades in high school were not good enough to get into the school and degree I wanted to do. Plus, it was pretty far away, and I didn't want to be commuting every day. So I just chose a school, or I chose my university based on proximity, not necessarily interests and what I wanted to pursue in life. But originally, I wanted to become a therapist. I wanted to make people feel seen and heard and show them that they're not alone in this. I mean, if we're being honest here, it was probably like my savior complex a bit as well. But even to this day, I'm shifting my business to, because I used to do ghostwriting. I might have said that before. And I'm still happy to advise people with their brands and their writing. But what I want to do more than anything is just start sharing the things I've learned on my healing journey with CPTSD and codependency and addiction. And it's really scary. It's really scary because this is going to be, or this, the way I'm starting to show up in life is the most authentic version of me. But I feel like a lot of people in my life, in my even direct environment, don't recognize that person, because I was always the one to just go along with what other people said. I had such low self-esteem that I just thought that for some reason other people always knew better than me. And now I understand that that's actually the fun trauma response, where you resort back to people pleasing. And that drove me, that people pleasing tendency combined with starting a business and being too stubborn, to being too impatient to build up a buffer first and gradually transition into it. I was really impulsive about it, quit my job, became a full-time copywriter without really knowing, really struggling through it the first couple of years. And even at times now, like, I'm still dealing with consequences of mistakes I've made, even last year. But that's okay. That is part of the journey. And yeah, over the past few months, between, I'd say, December, January, February, even March, I took a step back to really reevaluate and zoom out, because my life has done a complete 180 since I started my business. Didn't even start my business for myself, to be honest. I started it because I wanted to move in with my boyfriend who lived abroad. Yeah, and I was just so, again, obsessed with the idea of someone else is gonna save me, and if I just move in with my boyfriend, everything is gonna be okay. But that is when, I wouldn't recommend moving in with someone you've only met in person a handful of times really quickly. But I guess that's what I needed to learn. And that combination of lots of big life changes, of moving abroad, starting a business, seeing how his family related to each other and interacted with each other, without silent treatment or slamming doors or yelling at each other or being passive aggressive. That just broke me to my core. That is also when I started realizing that I was dealing with CPTSD and that I didn't have personality disorders, because in 10 years of therapy, I can tell you I've gotten every label you can possibly imagine. And I just thought there was something deeply wrong with me. But yeah, I can tell you now, if you're watching this and you always feel like there's something wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. That's just a voice in your head. And yeah, I know it's always easy to think when you hear someone say that on the internet, right? It's so easy to think like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say. That's the whole point with making this video, right? I didn't want to do it. Or it's not that I didn't want to. I was just feeling this fear, this resistance. But I also knew I've come to the point where I'm like, when I feel the inspiration to do something and I'm not acting on it, no matter what I do instead to distract myself, it's just not going to take away that feeling. And that desire that you feel, at least for me, when I don't act on it, it can slowly turn into just a general feeling of resentment. And I've become, painfully aware of this over the past months and weeks. And I thought, let's just change the loop then and do something different this time. On that note, I also wanted to say, there's a couple more things I wanted to say. First is, if you've been wanting to make videos for the longest time, but you're not doing it, you keep distracting yourself, start by just recording, and not even with the intention necessarily of posting, but just because I remember when I recorded that first YouTube video, not the makeup tutorial one, but the sales one, I remember being so nervous. I was in my own home. It was just me in there, but I was so scared because the thought of other people seeing it made me so deeply uncomfortable. So then I did a posting challenge, Higher Up Wellness. Michael Smoke, he started this trend last year, I believe, where he's just post a TikTok every single day. And so I did. And it really helped with feeling more comfortable in front of the camera. And so I went on to put my first YouTube video out. And because of that YouTube video, I made some online friends in Dan Ko's Cortex community. I believe that one's closed now. But I met Hussein. And Hussein then introduced me to Jesse and Noah and Nick. And now we're hosting a convention in Vancouver this summer. First weekend of June. Dan Ko will be there. Jesse, Nick, Hussein, me. We're all meeting up. And I've only got a handful of videos out there. But that just goes to show that you never know who you're going to meet and all the cool things that you'll be able to do, the opportunities that will come your way. There's this misconception of, I need to have hundreds of videos out and I need to have millions of followers. That's the only way that I'm going to get noticed. No, cut the crap. That's not true. That is your mind tricking you into never taking action. Because going from where you are now, however many followers you have at the moment, however many videos you have at the moment, if that amount is 0 and you think you need to have millions in order to be successful, you're never going to get started. You're never going to get started because the gap is way too big. And I believe this is Rick Rubin, I'm not sure. He says or has this quote that whatever you do, your art, your creative self-expression, don't do it for other people. Do it for yourself. And while yes, if you happen to watch this video, if you happen to come across it and you're watching it, I hope there's a message in here for you that you needed to hear. If not, that's fine. But I feel so much better having just opened my laptop, started recording, filming my silly little makeup tutorial. I feel so much better having done that. 30 minutes ago, I was in bed, scrolling, journaling a little bit. And I guess my point is, just do it. Just do it. A little nuance to add there. Have self-compassion as well. The reason you feel so much resistance and fear that's normal. It's absolutely normal. But if you envision yourself doing something, you gotta stop waiting for someone else to save you. And again, going into it with this attitude or mentality where you're like, I'm gonna start posting a video every single day, when you're not even comfortable talking to the camera yet, like, that is, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. Start by recording just for you, even if you don't end up posting it. Just start for you. People say that, entrepreneurship is steroids for self-development, or self-development on steroids, or whatever. And I'd say that making content, expressing yourself, sharing your ideas on video, and you can look at that without cringing and being like, wow, this person has so much courage. Yeah, what will we call that? Is that self-acceptance on steroids? I don't know. Could be. At least, yeah, I do think. I do think so, because just 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe even when I was in high school, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror without hating what I saw. And having dabbled in making podcasts and talking videos, that has really taught me to accept myself. And it's not like a flip of a switch moment, right? Where all of a sudden you're like, now I love myself. Like, I absolutely remember cringing so hard at my first videos. And I'm, in hindsight, like, I'm really sad I deleted those TikTok videos. But that's exactly why I left all my YouTube videos. Even podcasts or solo episodes that I'm not necessarily super proud of, that don't really reflect what I want to be reflecting anymore, but because they have been very pivotal moments in my life and in my creator journey, if that's what you want to call it. So, I don't know. Do we have any closing thoughts in this? Let me know if anything that I said stood out to you. Because I'm done with my makeup and I'm going to see my sister now.